Impact Cloud is an incredibly easy to use and intuitive software interface allowing users with Impact LED signs to control their signs, not only the content, but also scheduling. Once your sign has been purchased, the project management and tech support team at Impact LED would provide users with an email address and password that's associated with their cloud account. Users can navigate to impact.cloudled.com in order to access the interface. And that can be done from any number of devices, from an Android mobile phone, from an iPhone, iPad, Mac computer, Chromebook, or PC-based Windows machine, desktop, laptop. So once the username and password is typed in, users can log into the system. It's a very clean interface, which automatically lands them on the playlist page. And you'll notice that there are 5 different icons on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll go through each icon one by one. So Sites is the very top icon. Sites is nothing more than the locations where a user would have their signs. So for example, most users probably only have one location associated with their account. However, if you're perhaps a school district, you have 10 elementary schools, 10 middle schools, 10 high schools, or you own a chain of car washes or quick service restaurants, you might have various different locations in different states or different parts of town. Each of those locations might have its own site, and there could be more than one sign on each site. So this is just an area to track that information. The next icon down is Playlists. Playlists is broken up into 2 main categories, My Playlists and Shared Playlists. So for example, My Playlists will show any playlist that the user has created, but they can also share those playlists. So if you're a church pastor and you have another user on your account, perhaps it's your church secretary, you might share that playlist with the church secretary so that they can also create content on that playlist and send it out. The other icon across the top is New Playlist. That's where you would go to create a new playlist. A sign can only play one playlist at a time. That is, in fact, the group of messages that you're telling it to play. Now, a playlist can have as many slides in it as you want. It can have 1,000 different slides within the playlist. So if I had 3 different signs, I might have 3 different playlists. So, for example, this one says Test 96 by 224. That's the matrix of that sign. Users would get that matrix information from their project manager. And there are 5 slides in this particular playlist. It shows when they were last edited and who edited them. Perhaps I own another location, and this has a 96 by 192 matrix sign. This has 1 slide in it, etc., etc. So each playlist can contain as many slides as the users would like, and I'll go back into this here in just a moment. Going on down the row of icons on the left, the next icon is Library. The library is broken into 3 different categories, again across the top: Cloud Library, My Library, and Shared Library. As you might imagine, the Shared Library, again, is where you can find content that's shared across multiple users within an organization. My Library is simply where your content is stored. So again, this is different than a playlist. A playlist contains slides that are intended to be played on the sign. The library is simply where you would drop and leave content, store content, whether they be pictures or graphics and animations, to be used on those slides. So let's go into Cloud Library. Cloud Library is provided by Impact LED, and we're going to be adding more and more content to this library over time. But immediately under Holidays and Events, there are some 100 or so different pictures or video clips which can be filtered here if I only want to see videos. And users can save or bring that particular video into their library, or they can directly add it to a slide simply from this page. And if you click on the play button, it will show a preview of the animation or video clip that you've selected. So back to my library. So these are animations or video clips, pictures, etc. that I've brought into my library that can be then used on a slide. And then Shared Library, if I had more content, if I had, more users in my organization, they would access anything that's in the shared library, as well as their own library. Moving on down the list, My Devices. My Devices will show essentially your signs. So it'll also give a status. This particular sign that we are connected to is disconnected at the moment. You can click on the sign and see various pieces of content, the MAC address of the device, the firmware version, when information was last sent to it, what type of information was sent to it, how much of the hard drive has been used, etc. So if you were a school administrator and you had 10 signs at middle schools, there might be 10 different sites with one sign at each site, and you could see them all here, and if whether or not they were online or offline. Users, again, very simple to understand. Right now there's only one user associated with this account, but if I had an assistant who was also going to be using the software to control the signs that we had, I would create a sub-user and they would have access to everything that I'm seeing as well. Okay, so back to the fun part. Let's go to playlist. So how do you create content for a slide? You have a site that's set up by our project manager and tech team. You have a device, that's your sign. You have content in your library, and there's people using the system. How do we get those darn messages on the sign? So let's go ahead and go to a playlist that's already been created. To create a new one, you would hit New Playlist, but I'm going to go to one that's already existing, and I'm going to hit the Edit button. This will show me the various slides that I have inside of this playlist. Each of these slides can be scheduled to play at different times. So for example, this particular message has a hold time of 5 seconds. It's going to fly in from the left, and it's going to play continuously. If I wanted to edit that, I can flip this card over, and I can say, you know what, I want this message to stay on for 10 seconds, and I'm going to change the schedule. Rather than it playing continuously on my sign, I'm going to change when it's going to play. So look at the capability here. I can select the dates and the times of when any individual message would play. I can also select what day of the week. If I only want a message to play on Mondays and Fridays, there you go. Perhaps I only want it to play on certain days of the month, or I want it to play, all year, or only on particular holidays. Our software features the ability to toggle all of that. So you can imagine the flexibility that comes with that. If you wanted to have a message appear every Christmas or every 4th of July without you having to do anything whatsoever, simply schedule it and let it go. If you have a PTA meeting the same time every month, it's extremely easy to have that announcement. Users often will get their calendar out, schedule all the football games for the year, try to encourage people to go to those games. So how do we create a slide? How do we edit a slide? Very simple. I'm going to hit Edit Slide, and shows me Welcome to Max Tire Shop. White background, black letters, red outline. I can double click on the text. Editing a slide is very easy. I can control any number of things from this row of icons at the top. If I wanted to zoom out a little bit, change the font style, change the size of the font, bold, italicize, left justification, center justification, right justification, text color, outline thickness, space between each line, space between each character. You really have full capability to control the text that you see there. Once the text has been edited, you'll save it, which will return it back to the library, noting any changes, or back to the playlist, excuse me. And now let's go ahead and create a new slide from scratch. So in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to click New. takes me to my canvas, so to speak, which I can increase the size of. Then I can add any number of different objects: text, image, video clips, RSS feeds, time and temperature, website, scrolling text. So let's just create a basic text message. We'll even say basic text message. Confirm. There it is, basic text message. Maybe I want to make it bold. Perhaps I want to change the font style, change the color, put an outline around it, change the color of the outline. You get the idea. It's very, very simple to change text. However it looks on this text editor is what it will look like on your side. Once I've changed the text how I want it to be, I hit save. And now my message, slide number 6, is in my lineup. I could go back and edit the slide, duplicate it, or even preview the message. So let's flip the card over, and maybe I want to change the transition to where it flies in from the top, and save, flip the card back over. Let's add a graphic or animation from our library. So I'm going to hit New, Add Video. These are the animations that I have in my library. I'm going to hit Happy Armed Forces, or no, let's do Happy Halloween, and confirm. This video clip is now on my slide, and I'm going to save it. Now my video clip is ready to be scheduled, so I'm going to flip the card over, select Schedule, and I'm going to schedule it on a holiday. We'll just pick Halloween. I can then choose what date and time. It'll actually go out 1, 2, 3, 4 years. So every year for 4 years, this message is going to play on Halloween. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to remember to turn it on. It's just going to be on for Halloween. So that is a quick rundown of the creating content on the screen of the sign. I encourage you to get with your project manager or tech support representative and do a full training session. However, that's a quick rundown. In order to send messages to your sign, once the playlist is ready to go, hit Send to Terminal. This sign is offline at the moment, but you would select your sign and simply hit Send. And then after about 2 minutes, the sign will reach back out to the server, and it will ask if there's any new content waiting for it, at which time it'll begin playing the new messages according to the schedule that you've set forth. So that's it for this quick tutorial. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to our project management and tech support team. Our toll-free number is 1-800-398-0576. You would hit 3 for tech support or 5 for project management. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful day.